do you ever just think about how, you're going to get hit by that plant a lot.
It's fine.
Yeah. How people's like, they lived an entire life and now we don't even know their name, but we like have like a one picture of them. I don't know. I think about that sometimes.
That's terrifying to think
Sorry.
about. Don't be sorry. It's okay.
Welcome to the pod.
For each disc change, we're going to clap.
Okay.
So, just to help with syncing the audio later.
Okay.
Yeah. So on 1, we will clap together.
What? Like
On
1, 2, 3, 4?
No.
Oh, like 3,
like 3, 2, 1, clap.
Okay.
Let me think of the intro. Okay. We'll see if I have it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
So after 1.
Yes, correct. It's like, yeah, like
3, 2.
they're like rock, paper,
You know how
scissors.
they're like
Is it
5,
on 1 or is it
4,
on
3,
go?
2, and then you don't say 1 sometimes?
Yeah.
Maybe
and they
that's
do that
for film.
in like film stuff too.
Yeah, I
so
don't
that's,
know.
it's probably not it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of A Moment of Friendly Introspection, an honest, conversational podcast with creative guests and thoughtful questions. This month's guest is Natalie Layne. Natalie, how are you?
Hi, friends. I'm so good. How are you?
I'm good. This tree and I are going to be
You
real
are
familiar.
hitting that tree
I mean, I
right
can
now.
just move up,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'm sure I'll be
You
fine.
can, but it also might
In the
sway and it's
framing.
just a main character.
You know what? It's okay. It's
I think
fine.
it's good.
I'll just be cool about
Just
it.
be cool with
Yeah.
the tree.
I haven't asked you this because I was setting up immediately as you got here. How are you? How's your day been?
I'm doing well. I've just had like meetings today, so I feel like I'm like sitting down and breathing for
Sure.
the first time, but it feels good. And I'm
Well,
glad to be here with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting me.
No, sorry to make you be introspective and not just like
It's good for us.
chilling.
It's good for us.
Are meetings, is that usually what Fridays are for you? Just meetings?
Yeah, well, it depends if I'm gone or
Yeah, that's true.
Fridays lately have been out of town days. Yeah, but yeah, if I'm in town, meetings, catching up on stuff.
Okay.
Friday's a good day.
Friday's a good
Friday's
day.
a really good day. It's a good day for you too. I feel like
Typically, yeah. Like
you
we
get to be
don't.
home.
Yeah, we don't work in the office on Fridays, or we don't have to.
Yeah,
So it's a lot of just like if it's a release day, dotting all the I's, crossing T's. At least for me, I know for marketing,
Yes.
it's much more difficult. But just making sure I've got everything in. If not, just some small correspondence, email stuff here and there.
correspondence is crazy.
Yes.
He's catching up on his course. It's all right. Yeah,
Just like checking the playlist, see if there's anything new.
that's
Listening
cool.
to that stuff, if there's anything interesting.
Okay, you are one of the best people at finding new music. Of
Thank you.
Probably everyone I know.
I mean, I would hope so.
I would hope so too. That is literally your job.
Yeah.
But anything fun come out today?
You know, I didn't check today.
I did check today,
Okay,
and I
then
never
you tell
checked.
me. You tell me. Is there anything
never
good?
checked. There's some new Griff stuff, which is
Oh,
really
yes.
good.
Okay, cool.
And there's a new Brandon Lake song today that I
Yeah, I
turned on, and I
saw
was
that
like,
on
I don't know.
Instagram.
And then I listened all the way through, and I was like,
Fire.
yeah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah. It's like 5.5 minutes long, and it's a whole instrument. It is a musical.
Really?
Yes, it's a whole time.
Okay.
It's
I
and
should
the
check it
lyric.
out.
There's a lyric that says, "I'll sing until my soul catches up with my song."
Ooh,
And I was just like, listen,
that's kind of crazy.
it's kind of good.
Where does he get this stuff from?
I don't know.
Like, theoretically, we all have access to the ability to write a song with those words in that order. How has no one thought of that yet?
Right.
Do you think about that often in other songs you hear? Like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that?
Well, oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get so mad.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like right there. Like I could have just had that. But I mean, I think the whole process of writing songs is an entire mystery. Like, where do songs come from? Because it sometimes doesn't feel like you're writing it. It feels like you're catching it. Like you're like
Sure.
catching something in the air or like discovering things. So the whole thing is so mysterious to me. But it's like, I mean, I think God helps us a lot. I think he gives us songs sometimes. I think we just, stumble upon things sometimes. The whole thing is wild. And I think about how it's like it's the only art form I can think of that it's like we don't start with materials. Like we don't start with a medium, like how a painter has their canvas and paint and stuff. Like we're just like listening and like pulling things literally out of the air.
Yeah.
And it's like we're not really creating with material. It's just like.
That's very strange.
It's strange.
When you're writing a song, what's the typical process for you? Like, do you try and find a melody first? Do you have the words first?
It depends. It changes for me, but I feel like lately it's been like, well, this is how I started too, of like sitting down at the piano and just like playing a chord progression that I think is interesting or finding something that feels honest for that day.
Yeah.
And then like the words follow.
Yeah. Okay.
Or like what it's about, or maybe a melody comes out of that, but a lot starts at the piano for me, probably.
How long do you sit on an idea, like a piano line or something, or a word? Like,
okay. It could be like we're playing similar thing for 10 minutes at the piano and like things start flowing, or it could be like we voice memo that and come back to it in 5 years.
Good Lord.
So
okay.
It depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has it always been just music for you, or have there been other ways you've wanted to creatively express yourself?
I think, and we can get into this too, but I think every human is creative and is like made to create because we're made in literally the image of a creator, which is the first thing we ever see about God in scripture is that he's creator. And then he says you're made in the image of God. So I think we like are inherently made and meant to create. And so I feel like I express my creativity in lots of ways, but there was like a specific gifting in music for me. I always wanted to be like a visual artist, but I'm so bad. When I tell you I'm terrible at like drawing or painting or anything like, no.
Really?
And then my brother's incredible at that.
Interesting.
So it just was not my like thing.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy like painting. It's just bad.
No, I get that. I mean, I'm also a terrible visual artist.
Really?
But like, yes.
Have you tried?
Yes, I've tried many a time. And it was always awful. Never worked out.
It doesn't work out.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Because I'm also the type of person who like wants to just be good at the thing. I don't want to practice.
Yeah.
And it just felt like something I want to be good at that. But like I didn't have the heart to learn basics and keep doing it every day until I got better and better.
For sure.
No, thank you.
Which is like practice is like 90% of it. Usually.
Sadly, yes.
People don't get that. Sometimes like it's most of it. Yeah.
Let's go back to the everyone's creative because we were created thing. That concept is kind of why I started this show.
Oh, cool.
Because back in March, I took a trip for my birthday just by myself, and I came back.
March babies?
Yes.
That's good.
Came back just thinking like, well, let me explain a little more. I went away and I had time to just be by myself and exhale from regular life.
Yeah.
And I had the chance to ingest 3 creative pieces of art in my mind. Rick Rubin's book, finished that up.
So good.
Jacob Collier, his newest record had just come out, Jesse 4, and Dune 2. So all 3 of those things.
So different.
Yeah, I know, right?
Love that.
But they all spoke to me in various ways. And I came back to town thinking like, man, all that stuff was creative. Do I feel like a creative being? And my answer was no, I did not.
Crazy.
And that's because I was equating being creative with having creative output. And I wasn't comfortable with that. So I was thinking, you know what? I was created. I am creative.
Yeah.
Like, that should just be it.
Yeah.
But it did spark me to have some sort of creative output with this
Love
show.
It.
So here's the proof of my creativity.
Totally.
But I didn't need it to be creative.
Yeah.
But I like that thought. Like, no, we are all creative because we were created.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. And I think sometimes we don't see the ways that we are naturally creative because it's not how society would deem creative things. Like when we hear creativity, we think art and music and visuals and, like.
Totally, yes.
But like for me, like one of the most creative people I know is my dad, who's an accountant.
That's right.
You know, and it's not like he's not out here drawing, but he's literally like, I will watch him in a spreadsheet and he's like coming up with creative solutions to like these, like, I don't even know what you call half of this stuff, but like what he needs to do for it to like make sense. And it's just wild. Like he finds these shortcuts and he's doing this stuff, and he wouldn't even probably call that creative to himself. But to me, I go, you're seeing problems and creatively finding solutions.
Yeah.
That's being creative too. And so I think like, yeah, we're all wired in a different way to be creative. But I also think like, and my dad's a great example of this too, like he also loves music and he plays bass at church on Sundays. And so like, it's so good to have hobbies that are creative too.
Yeah.
That are separate from our work, you know?
What are those for you?
So I love being in the kitchen. I love cooking.
Yes,
I love baking. My friends laugh at me because I'll take a recipe and like not really use it. You know?
Yes.
I'll be like, these are the ingredients loosely, but let's change some things. And that's creative to me too. It's like taking a blueprint, but then like messing with it, you know?
What's your favorite thing to cook and what's your favorite thing to bake?
My favorite thing to bake is definitely my aunt's chocolate chip cookies.
Interesting.
So good.
Classic. Okay.
It's a classic, but like they're like kind of cake-like cookie. It's it's a nice thing. And then to cook, I like all kinds of things. I'll do like, lately I'm doing a lot of soups and
Gross.
Gross. You hate soup, don't you?
I hate soup.
You hate hot liquids.
Correct.
I'm so sad.
It's okay.
Would you drink a hot chai?
I mean, yes. If you'll recall that one time, where were we?
I don't
Sarasota.
recall any.
We
were in Sarasota?
We were in Sarasota. It was you, me, and Shimmy.
Okay.
And we went through the Starbucks drive-thru, and we tried to order a very basic order for three of us.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the person taking the order could not hear me.
Both of yours were wrong, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah. Everyone's order was wrong. So like, I ordered a nice chai without milk. That is my go-to order at every coffee establishment. They gave me a hot chai. And I was like, great, cool. I guess I'll drink this tomorrow when it's cold.
Right. You did wait.
It was the hottest chai I've ever had.
I think you waited and did drink it lukewarm.
Yes, I did.
Great.
So yes, I will drink it eventually.
Okay.
But I would never choose a hot anything over a cold anything.
It bugs you. It's weird.
It makes me too hot. I run hot.
You're already hot. Yeah.
So sure. Hot. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Your favorite thing to bake
I'm
is the
making a lot
chocolate
of
cookies.
soups, and I'm doing a lot of toast right now. It's just like an easy thing to do.
Is this 1920?
So like, no. No, but it's fancy toast, okay? So I'll toast the bread. I have a toaster oven. Everything's great.
Congratulations.
But then I'll put like ricotta cheese, maybe some sliced apples and honey. Maybe like it's like loaded.
You lost me.
It's okay. That's all right.
I'm glad
I cook lots
you
of
love
things.
That. Good for you.
I make a lot of hashes and like one-pan dinners. I like it to be easy, but I like to be in.
Where'd this come from? Do your parents cook a lot? Or?
No, I don't know. I just like it. I like food. I think it's interesting.
Food's great.
Yeah. So glad we agree. Yeah, and just, I don't know. I think it's interesting, and I think part of it now too is like when I'm not on the road, I like to be home, and it's something that I can do in my home that like feeds the soul as well as the body.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's a great point. What other things, like when you are home, you cherish like, oh, thank goodness I get to do this while I'm here.
Just sit and read and stare out the window, man. Yeah. Like I love to just be home, and my roommates are awesome, and we get to hang out, and great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just like being back with my piano and like making music for fun is huge. And I never had to like make time for that before it was my job, you know? I just love music and would just do it. But now I have to have set aside times that are like, we're going to sit down and make music without any, like, there's no goal for this time. It's just like we're playing piano for fun, you know?
Yeah.
So, or playing guitar or whatever.
For anyone who might be watching this who doesn't know, you are a musical artist. Like that is your living.
Yeah.
What's it like?
It's crazy. It's not a real job at all. That's the first thing.
Sure.
It's so funny. Like I watch my friends go to work from 9 to 5 and I'm like, wow, my job is so different than that. Like it is just, I never know what's going to happen day to day. You know, it's a weird thing because every day is different, but also every kind of season is different. Like we'll be in a writing season where we're just like writing a ton of songs. And then we'll be in a touring season where we're like on the road all the time. And then, so it kind of feels like it goes in phases and then it like comes back around, you know? So by the time you've finished doing all the parts, you're ready to come back to the next thing. And so I like that about it. But it just definitely makes it kind of unpredictable sometimes. But it's so fun because it's like, I'm actually living the dream. Yeah. Since I was a baby, this has been my dream. So
it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you find ways to be creative out on the road? Like I imagine like writing a song from nothing sounds obviously creative. Even producing one out seems obviously creative. Setting up how a show will go, like what songs to play and how to make them different from the record, that seems creative. But like once you're out there doing it, is there any creativity in that? Or is it just like, we're singing the songs that we picked out and played and we're going to get off?
Yeah, it can be that. I feel like it is what you make it, you know? And yeah, a lot of artists, like that's good for them to like have a set plan and do the same thing every night. That like drains me a little bit, you know? I'm like, if I can't like, you know, go with whatever's happening in the moment, like that makes me bored. So I definitely have a plan of like, these are what songs we're going to do. This is probably loosely what I'm going to say, but like, it's been cool. Cause like this last tour I was on was just me and the piano. I didn't have a band with me. And so that gives me a little more room to like change things on the fly if I ever kind of want to. Which actually my band does that really well with me too, but you can't just like add another bridge in the middle of the song all the time if you're like wanting to go there.
Well, but with that attitude.
But yeah, so I feel like there's a little bit of room for creativity in the set, but then I mean the whole day is, you just again never know what's gonna happen. Like, and it's less about like I miss writing songs when we're on the road. I miss that kind of creativity, but it's way more like, let's see how we're going to do this show in this venue and like where things are going to go and let's meet people and hear cool stories and like, you know, so it's a different kind of creativity. I feel like it's very people focused, which I love.
Right now, which of these three aspects of your career do you get the most joy out of? Is it writing, is it recording, or is it going out and touring / performing?
Yeah. Right now it's probably the touring part of it because that's the season I'm in of the, you know?
Totally.
But it's weird. Like I try to pay attention to where my heart is at in that, because like, I'm like, by the time it's time to tour, I'm ready to go. Like I am rearing to go. We're like, but now I'm sort of toward the end of touring like this group of songs. And so I'm feeling the like, ooh, it's almost time to write again. Oh, it's almost time. It's like not like it's time right now, but I feel it. The like season changing, you know? So, but that's exciting. Then I go, oh, well, next I'm going to be most excited to write, you know? So I like that changes too. And I think just in my personality, that's good for me to have different things to look forward to and not be like, my job is going to be the same next month as this month. Like that's really good for me to have like changes. So, and I don't think it's good for everybody. Some people want to know what they're doing tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I think too, like I'm a little bit strange because I think most artists are very like type B and can be scattered and whatever, but I'm very type A. And I used to know.
God. I love that about you.
I'm so glad that helps you. But it used to bother me that I didn't know what I was going to do tomorrow or that like we needed to have more of a plan. And now I feel like we never have a plan. So I've just learned to let go, and it's actually way better that way.
I think it's a blessing to be in a job like the ones that we have, where like you do have the freedom to change something. And it makes sense for what you're doing. So like, crazy. your next project is not necessarily going to sound the same as the last one or even
Praise
use
God.
the same people. Yeah.
Love that.
And like some people just don't have that luxury.
Totally.
Like they work the same job for a decade or longer or whatever.
Totally.
And like it can get monotonous and difficult and you can get bitter and all this stuff. But like I feel like there's room for change and room for growth in what we do, even if we're unknown about what's happening tomorrow or what the next thing is going to sound like. The fact that it's possible to change goes a long way, I think.
For sure. That's crazy. That's crazy that we can like affect change in what we're doing in that way. But it's also like, oh my gosh, I affect this a lot.
Yeah.
So like, hopefully I'm doing the thing that's going to be the best. And I mean, we have to give ourselves so much grace to know that like, we are not always going to make the best decision in this. And you know, it's like, we do our best, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Completely wildly different topic.
Okay, I'm so excited.
This book that I don't know what we just said, or what we said at the top of the show, we'll make it in here. I'll try and find a way for it to go.
Great.
But apparently this book is about...
You just found this here, right?
I mean, it was there when I got here.
Right.
Yes, but like, it's about... There's just pictures of people.
Can I read the cover?
You can read the cover.
Okay, because this is where I started.
Yes.
It says... In 1925, a Siberian immigrant had an idea for a small curtain-enclosed booth where people could take affordable portraits anonymously and automatically, and thus the photo booth was born. So
great setup.
Great.
Of course.
Great. So these are literally anonymous photos of, I don't know who these people are.
Neither do I.
I have no idea. It doesn't tell us. The point is that we don't know.
Yeah. I actually think that's incredibly fascinating. And I'm so glad you picked it up and read that out loud.
Because look at these people. Like, we don't know. We'll never know. There's kids in here. There's like, some of them are signed.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
But only if the person chose to sign it. Some of them are like wanted posters.
Yeah. That's so fire.
That's crazy.
So my question is, like, after you said that, and after we've been talking for 20 minutes, obviously I haven't been listening to a word you've said. I've been thinking about this.
Really?
I guess. If you had one picture to represent you that was anonymous
my God,
for the rest of your life, and of course you have more life to live, but like presently, what is the picture that you would offer up for this book?
Holy cow. That's a crazy question. Like a picture of me?
Yes. To be in a book like this.
I feel like I would want to just go do this. Go sit in the photo booth and take whatever comes out of that.
And whatever that is.
Because that's just a snapshot of me in that moment.
Yeah. No one never knows who you are. You're just a picture in this book.
Do you ever think about that? How like even my like great-great-grandma, I don't know her name. I don't know what she did, you know? But I'm like living in a legacy of what she like built for me.
Yeah.
You know? But like, I have no idea her day-to-day life, you know? And like 4 generations from me, maybe no one will know who I ever was. But the goal, right, is that they'd be like living in something we built for them.
Yeah.
It's just, the little stuff doesn't matter as much as we think it does. You know what I mean?
That's well said. I think I'm going to butcher a Westworld quote or something. I don't know.
Great. Perfect.
You only live as long as the last person to remember you dies or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think about that often.
Really?
But maybe I should.
Well, it's just whenever I think about like, I want to make an impact, you know? Like I want to make a mark and like, what does that actually look like?
Yeah.
You know?
What does that look like?
Because I think at first you think, oh, like if I make an impact, then people will know my name. But then it becomes like, no, you'd actually hope they remember what they learned from you or what you gave them that was way bigger than your name or anything else, you know? And like, I think about it all the time, like how like literally the Lord lived 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
We do know his name, but it's because 12 people carried the idea on to us. You know, it wasn't like he went viral. So we have like a, also you ever think about
Jesus
that?
Went viral.
Jesus didn't pick a time where he could go viral. He gave an idea to 12 people.
Good for him.
Great idea. Great for him. But,
Well.
and they passed it on for generations, and that's why we know about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what can we give to the next generations that has nothing to do with us? But that's a good idea, or that's a good way to live, or that, like,
Totally.
what can we give them that actually matters?
Yeah, I think the tenets of Christianity that have moved on throughout the years are very important and have been needed to be passed on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did a good job with that,
right?
For sure,
right. It's just cool, like the way they did it too. Like they just told one person at a time, or like whoever would listen. So I think now, like, for people to know my name, or for people to even know my songs, like they'll forget my songs, but maybe the thing they learned from it will live on, and like that's the legacy. I don't know.
That's freaking good.
I don't know. I just think about that sometimes.
Do you think other artists think about it?
I have no idea.
You've never asked any?
I don't. Yeah, we talk about sometimes, like, when I talk to other artists, like, we talk about how music can't be the end goal. I think for a lot of people it becomes that, but like music is very much a medium, a means to get to the end goal.
Sure.
Right? Which is helping people, telling people about Jesus. Like, there's something bigger than that, but that's what we use to do that.
Yeah.
And I just think that the music or the career or whatever can become the end goal when it's like, that was never the end goal.
Yeah.
So we talk about that for sure. But then just zooming out is crazy. So like, what will it look like years down the road?
Totally.
Crazy.
Something I think about, and it makes me sad, is how...
Oh, no.
At least if you're an artist or maybe even a player, there's really no retirement for music. Like, Rolling Stones are still out there. Elton John's still out there.
That makes you sad?
Yes.
Oh, that makes me stoked.
Like, I hope that you're not doing this because you need to. I hope you're doing this because you want to.
Yes.
If they're doing it because it needs to, that makes me very sad. Like, you haven't saved enough, or you're not fulfilled enough from all that you've done already. Like,
but
what if they want to? If they want to, I love that. And I probably won't meet any of these people, so I won't know for sure. But like, at least from the outside looking in, there's so many artists who just keep doing it forever and ever, and then like they just lose what they had, and it's not what it used to be, and that sucks. And just like, hang it up, please, for the love of God.
True. Sometimes you need to hang it up.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that just makes me upset.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about like, you know what, I'm going to retire when I'm 40?
Oh, man. I don't think I'll ever retire. I think it'll just look different.
Sure.
I think I think I'm traveling more right now than I might ever travel, you know? And there might be a time where I go, okay, I want to be home more. What could that look like? Like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm making more music from home. Maybe there's going to be a time where I'm like leading more at church, and that's where I play. Yeah. Maybe there's going to be a time where I like teach music at a college or at a, I think it'll just be different versions of this. Yeah. But I think I'll always write songs. Like, I don't think I'll ever be like, that was my last song. Because I literally can't. Like, if I stop writing, it just comes up again. Like, it's just like part of me.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I think that's a good place to stop for this first section.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hello, welcome back. We're in part 2, still just talking about whatever comes up. I was just saying I catered some questions specifically to you.
That's
for this
very
record,
kind of you.
which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This time it just felt like you're the first musical artist I'm speaking to.
Crazy.
So I was like, I don't know.
Can I ask, who have we spoken to thus far? Like, is it like just non-musical folks?
Not as a profession per se. Actually,
Got it.
Scratch that. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I don't know the release order, so I don't want to say.
Okay, sick.
I don't know what you've seen.
I'm going to be finding out along with the world.
Sure.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Hopefully it's good.
We're pretty close to being able to listen to them.
Yeah. Okay. First, Natalie, specific question. Do you have any daily or continual routines to stay in a creative zone?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to think about them because they are second nature now.
Okay. What are these situations you're in?
What did you just say?
What are the situations you're in that these come up?
Yeah, it's more like that than like an everyday I do this, you know?
Yeah.
I think regular things like taking care of my body help my creative brain.
Sure.
I'm less creative when I have less sleep. Less creative.
No way.
I know, it's crazy. Listen, in Nashville, we start writing at 10 and sometimes we don't stop till 5 or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Like all these songwriters are just not eating lunch.
I didn't know this until maybe a year ago and I was shocked and appalled.
We just don't eat.
It sucks.
And so
you need
naturally we like dip at 3 or 4 and we're like, oh, I'm losing my creative steam. And that's exactly when you need it to like finish the song.
Totally.
So that's bad. It helps me.
Let's solve this
I do bad
right now.
at that.
How do we solve the lunch issue?
I don't know, because the issue with it is that we don't want to stop the creative flow to break for lunch. So.
But what if you did?
Yes, some people do it and it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally fine. It's fine. Now, if you're like in the, and I hate this more than anything, if you're like in the middle of thinking of a verse and everyone's like, let's go to lunch. I'm like, but we're like one line away, you know? Yeah. I hate that. But if you're in like a good stopping place, it's great.
Stop. Yeah. Okay.
Go get lunch, order lunch.
Yeah.
You can order it to there. Also, going outside is a good idea in the middle of the day. Go get lunch. Anyways. So I think about that. I'm more creative when when I've had lunch and I'm drinking water and things.
Sure.
And exercising. And I mean, I work out now more for my mental and creative health than actually my physical health, which is kind of crazy. Which I just never did before. So something weird about me is that I have a thing called synesthesia. And so it's where I see colors when I hear music. I see colors associated with everything in my brain. I thought everyone did that. And then it turns out not everyone does that.
That's correct.
And so that's like an automatic thing that happens in my brain. And actually it kind of helps me creatively when I lean into that for myself. So just a practice that I have is like, I'll try to think about what colors are going on in my brain. How can I, because if I lean into like, let's be more colorful, let's put more textures, like the music ends up better because it is kind of accompanied by a visual picture that's like showing me what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's like a very individual practice for me that I can't like really share with most people in the room.
Totally.
You know, I'm like, can we make this more purple? And they're like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Like add some, you know, and then I'll use musical terms to describe. But that helps me. Just getting around other people, collaborating with people helps me so much. I think that like collaboration is accountability.
Interesting.
So like I was talking to a young songwriter the other day, not that I'm not young, a younger than me songwriter the other day. And she was like, I want to like write a ton of songs next year. Like, and I was like, how are you going to do that? She's like, I'm just going to do them. And I was like, no, you're not. You won't write as much as you want to write unless it's on your calendar to do with other people. Like, I really think because we stop ourselves, we don't finish songs. We like, it's just something that happens. And so if it's on your calendar to write with other people, work with other people, hear from other people, work on listening to other people in a creative space, like that helps me a lot. So that's definitely a practice. Those are a few.
Yeah.
Is that what the kind of thing you were thinking of?
I don't know what I was thinking of. I mean, it sounds.
Do you have any of those creative practices?
No.
Just whatever comes up.
Yeah, no, I don't think I do. But not that I'm not creative or not a creative, but I'm not going out and writing songs or going out and writing scripts. Like it's just not the same.
Sure.
my creativity comes more in like editing or thinking big picture. And I typically, I don't need to stay in a zone to do that or have any daily or common occurring
That's cool,
rituals.
Because then when creativity strikes, you can kind of run with it. Like this, you're like, let me just do a podcast. You're like, okay, you know, like that's very cool to be able to do.
I think I'm a little bit good at improving creativity stuff too. It's just like, oh, this is a good idea. Well, what about this? And also this. And just like, still big ideas, but like, here's some other options for you. Yeah.
Yes.
I would love to go back to the synesthesia of it all. You saying like you lean more into it and then the music gets better.
Yeah.
I do not have this. So as someone who does not,
it doesn't make sense.
Why wouldn't you just lean into it all the time?
Yeah, theoretically you would, you know, but it's such a, like it's so just integrated into how my brain works that it's going on in the background and I don't think about it.
Got it.
So it just takes work to actually cognitively think about what's happening.
Sure.
You know, because it's just happening in the background. And so I just don't always think to go, what's going on there?
Yeah.
It's a cool thing that we can tap into, but it's like, I don't know. It's like white noise sometimes if I don't bring my attention to it.
How often do you see scenes or pictures when you hear something?
Not really scenes or pictures.
Okay.
Colors and textures. So like it might be sparkly or it might be matte or it might have a wave.
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I see scenes and pictures.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's kind of useless. Like unless I'm like making a movie or something. Yeah, I don't know why I would ever need.
Is it like a beach sometimes, or would it be like that kind of thing?
Sure, just something. I don't know. It's not all the time, but just sometimes.
This is what you should do. This is what I do with my synesthesia.
Okay.
I'll make playlists. So I have like a blue playlist.
Got it.
And a red playlist. And it's like songs that are blue to me, songs that are red to me. You could make like beach songs and like driving through the forest. You know what I mean? Like if any have the same picture, you like make a whole thing and people would totally listen to that.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny.
Do you still enjoy listening to music? Seems like it would be very difficult.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's happening in the background. So I mean,
not even just with that, but like being an artist yourself. And just music is your job. Like, how do you find time to enjoy it?
I just love music. I'm in a place where I love it so much still. Like it's not gotten old to me. The interesting thing, I think, like being in the sort of like Christian gospel space, like sometimes I do think my brain is on a lot when I'm listening to our genre.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm thinking, oh, that's cool what they did there with the song, or like they, you know, I see what they're doing, or, you know,
totally.
I'm thinking a little bit more, but in other genres, I don't think as much.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
And actually sometimes I need to listen to music that like is impossible for me to figure out.
Ooh, that's cool.
You know what I mean? Like that's why, I mean, I love Jacob Collier so much. Yeah. I love people like that because it's like they're speaking a language that I know a little bit of.
Sure.
But it's like so far beyond that I'm also like, wow, I can't even if I try to understand this, I cannot, you know?
Totally.
In my current, like what feels like a baby state of music when I like watch him play. So it's good for me to listen to things that I can't figure out.
Okay. That
helps me enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just listen to other genres and be open to everything and learn from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to move on to a different question here.
Okay.
Can you speak to your relationship with ego as an artist?
With ego? Mm-hmm. I'm done wrestling with my ego.
Oh, jeez.
Ego, can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
How are you thinking about ego in terms of that question? What is ego to you? Like just who we are?
I think yes. I wasn't thinking of it in the negative sense. Mm-hmm. Just like, especially in our genre where so much of the songs you would like theoretically to point back to God or point to God. So someone else can find him instead of you per se through the song.
For sure.
just balancing out like, okay, how much of me am I putting into this? And like, it's everything, but also it's nothing because you're trying to not be in the way. I don't want to lead the witness here, but yes. In that regard.
That's what my first thought was, is it's such a balance. Like, I think people will just say like, I want to destroy my ego. Like, I don't want to be part of it at all. And it's like, it's actually kind of a crazy thing because God asked us to partner with him. And like, you know what I mean? Like he didn't say, baby. He didn't say, write me a song and then get out the way. He didn't say that. He said, actually, I want to do this with you. And
you're preaching, bro.
I mean, it's true.
You're preaching.
It's true. And so actually it's kind of a disservice if I don't put me into the song. Like if that's so silly. Yeah. You know, like, isn't that why we make art? Like, and I love that. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to something that John Mays tells me all the time, but we talk a lot about how music is this, at least in the way that we're trying to do it, music is this trifecta of like, you hope that it will glorify God and be a ministry to people. You hope that it will maybe make money and be a business and a living for you. Yeah. And then you hope that it will show your artistry. And when we get too focused on any one of those things, the whole thing falls apart. Yeah. And like in an ideal world for us, all three of those would be in perfect balance, right? And all three of those things would happen. But it's very difficult for all three of those things to happen. But I think that's like continually the goal that I want to go for is like I'm not saying like puff up my ego and like make it all about me at all. But like I do believe that God's given us gifts to share. Yeah. And so I've worked really hard on my like musical ability and like my style in the way that I play and write. And like that's just going to be transferred to the songs. Yeah. And I pray that within that, like God would weave himself into the songs too. So we're actually making it together. Like he's a co-writer. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if he's not, then we have a problem. But like, you know, just like inviting him into that because he invited us in first. So if we're not doing it together, then why are we doing it, you know?
I love that.
I mean, it's true, right?
It's absolutely true. I think any artist, Christian or not, wants their voice to be heard through what they're creating. I'm guilty of that with this. Like, I wanted to impart something I'm passionate about, and that's being intentional and introspective. And I hope that comes across in this. You're so good at that. Because that's what I'm trying to do. Yes. And I'm glad I'm not doing it alone. Yeah. So like, like ego will always be there. Like, embrace it. Like, and then of course, like everything, much of a good thing could be bad. Yes. You put too much of yourself in it and you forget the greater vision. That sucks. But like, don't be afraid of your voice. Totally. I don't know. Well, that's what gets me about this is like, God's not afraid of your voice because he gave it to you, right? So like, I think we discount what we have to say too. I know I do. You know, like we all do that. We all look at ourselves and we're like, I don't have anything to, like, it's all God, you know? Totally. And it is God, but it's God through you. And like, so discounting ourselves in that way is actually discounting him and a good thing he made. So it's good. It's just both. I had a huge problem with that growing up. Just like, and some of this came directly from my mother. She would always say like, anytime someone gives you props for something, she'd say like, just know it's all God. Like you weren't a part of that. Yeah. And eventually I grew up, I was like, I did something here. You did something to make them say that. And like, I got so bad at accepting compliments and praise. And I'm not great at it. You're working on that. Yes, I'm working on it. Just because like I realized like I played a part in this. You did. And thank God for that. Yeah. I don't know. Yep. I think all that's so important, you know? I mean, I used to think with this whole thing, I used to think it was really selfish to want to be an artist. Like, I just thought, oh, that looks like it's all about me if I do that, you know? But it's actually not. You have to be in a selfless place to do this in
a way that is honoring to the Lord, and He will keep you in check. Let me tell you, He will keep you humble with that.
Yeah.
And that's a gift too. But yeah, I don't want to discount, and I would never do that to someone else. I would never like discount their voice or like them.
Yeah.
But we do it to ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
You know? So I try to get myself out of my own head sometimes. Like, if this was my friend, how would I?
Yeah. Some good self-compassion practice.
Yeah.
What you just said was a great transition into the next idea.
Great.
Just discussing the idea of artistry being one of the most selfless positions, despite how normal people conceptualize an artist.
Yeah.
So like maybe you see Taylor Swift and you think, oh, she's all like me, and like all about the money or all about blah, 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 being very selfish attributes. But to be any artist, especially one of her caliber, to spend a year and a half touring for so many other people, sacrificing so much of her life, and so much of her relationships to be in front of the people who love her.
Yes.
I can't think of anything more selfless than that.
Mm-hmm. And people will say all kinds of things against that. They'll be like, you know, she's making so much money.
And she is.
And she's getting so famous.
Man, she is.
But yeah, like if you're doing everything for you, you're probably not going to choose to sing for 3 hours a night. 3.5 hours is her show. You were there.
I was there.
Yeah.
Incredible.
3.5 hours.
Unbelievable.
For 2 years almost that she's like.
It's unbelievable.
She could have stopped at the end of the first leg.
Yeah.
But she made another one. Like, it just is, I don't know. There's something that happened, I think, even with her. I think she sees the faces of her fans and are like, this is bringing them so much joy. Why would I stop?
Yeah.
You know?
There's just
That's
so much.
it to me.
Yeah. There's so much sacrifice involved in the life of an artist, musical or not.
Yeah.
To make your own dreams come true, of course. But like once you do, if you choose to follow a commercial music route, once you do have success and people do expect things of you, or the label expects things of you, or you expect things of yourself, there's just so much sacrifice involved.
For sure.
That happens. Like, okay, I chose this to be my profession.
Yeah.
I have to lay some things down.
Yeah.
And I have to do this. And that's just so hard.
Yeah. And there's like got to be a line of like, what am I willing to sacrifice and what am I not, you know?
Yeah.
I think you have to know that going in. I think it's really interesting in Nashville because that everybody comes in thinking that this is the dream and what they want to do. And then sometimes when they have to sacrifice stuff, they drop it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it weeds people out in kind of a weird way of like, they're like, oh no, I won't do that. I won't sacrifice for that. Or even I won't spend the amount of time necessary to like stay at this for it to work. Like, it's just, what are you willing to sacrifice and what are you not? There are things I'm still not willing to sacrifice for, you know, to be more famous or whatever. Like, you know, so it's just knowing what success means to you.
Yeah.
And I do actually think that's different for different people.
I think having those moments of like, okay, I'm at a crossroads.
Yeah.
How much do I care about chasing this thing?
Yeah, for sure.
Are so important. I mean, it happened for me, and it led me away from being a singer and into trying to figure out what I would want to do in the music industry. Yeah. And thank goodness.
Right. You seem like you don't regret that.
No.
You're loving that.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Great.
Yeah. And like, even it worked out for me for sure. But even if it doesn't work out as well as it has for me, it's probably still better off if you kept trying to chase that thing and you kept not having your heart in it.
Yeah.
And then that feels like wasted time. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. What is meant to happen does happen.
Yeah. I mean,
there was a lot wrapped up in that.
Hope, yes, there was. I hope that's true.
But we don't get to know why.
Yeah.
For a long time.
For a long time, maybe if ever on this earth. Yeah. I mean, it sucks, but whatever.
It does. But we're trusting. We're trusting and believing.
Yeah. No, we've got a little bit of time.
We're doing good.
I hope everything's showing up well here. We're in a great place.
I do too. The light seems good.
Yeah, it does seem good.
It's getting dark outside because it's 4:00 in Nashville. I'm fine.
Which I love it.
No.
Yes.
I want the sun to
I'm
be
one
out.
of those.
I get sad when it's dark.
I don't, dude. I really don't.
Okay.
I want to go back to something you said earlier about just like when you are back in town, this is a big touring season for you.
Yeah.
When you're back in town and you're just chilling with the piano at home and like making music for fun. What does that sound like?
Oh. Well, first of all, playing the piano is so fun for me because it's where I started, you know? It's like, it just feels like an extension of me at this point. So like, I can just sit and, actually it's one of my favorite ways to worship is just playing the piano and not even singing, you know? And so, yeah, it just sounds like whatever's kind of going on inside of me just kind of comes out at the piano, and it's sweet, and it's just sweet to know that nothing has to come from it, and it's just like just for me, or it's just for me and the Lord, you know?
Yeah.
So it depends, but it's funny, like sometimes my roommates will be home and they're like, "What were you doing down there? Are you good?" I'm like, wasn't good today or whatever.
Yeah.
And some days it's beautiful and mellow and slow and you know. But no, it's just cool. It's a way for me to release for sure and like get some emotions out and process through and just a way to worship. It's cool. It's a sweet thing. And I'm always playing on my grandma's piano, which feels like fun.
Yeah.
It's the piano that I fell in love with music on when I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
So sweet. It's in my house now.
So great.
Yeah.
Completely different, total shift to something else.
Ready.
We had a lunch a little while back and I asked you, what do you think makes a good leader?
Oh, dude.
Remember what you said?
I don't remember what I said. I probably thought, do you remember what I said?
I was going to check.
I think I said, a good leader knows they're not really the leader.
I think you did say that.
Yeah. And I think that's so important because like no one is the top of this whole thing. Like no one's the main leader of this whole thing. Like we are all under God in this anyways. And so even if you're like the CEO of your whole, you know, company and it feels like everyone looks to you, like you're still following. And so I think a good leader knows how to follow and knows how to listen. Yeah. And that, I mean, those are true characteristics of anyone that I respect and follow. Yeah. Is that they know how to follow and how to listen. And that shows them how to lead. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a second question that I've been asking people. What do you think makes a man?
What makes a man? Didn't John Mayer say that?
Did he?
Maybe. Never know what makes a man. All the love that his heart can stand. Shout out, Gravity. Yes. What makes a man? That's so open-ended.
I know.
What makes a man?
Yeah.
Well, what's a man?
I'm asking you that.
What makes a man?
Yes. I mean, I've been asking a lot of people, and I have one thing that I've heard that I've stuck with so far. Someone who's equal parts tender and tough, which I really
cool.
like that a lot.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I hope and pray to be that. That's crazy. I mean, yeah, that speaks to Jesus too, like being full of grace and truth. That's like what it says about him. You know? So much grace. Also, I think there's a reason grace comes first.
Interesting.
And that he leads with grace. Yeah. But then he says the truth. He speaks the truth, you know? And I think that's a great answer, tender and tough, like, because it's like, especially when confronted with hard things, I think we lead with grace. We lead with the tenderness part. Yeah. But to be strong and to be tough is important. I love that.
Isn't it good? Yeah.
That's really good. How many people have you asked so far?
Oh, brother. A lot.
Makes a man? What makes a man is also their leadership. So those questions tie together.
I can see how they would be linked. A lot of people have linked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their leadership and their fellowship. You know?
Yeah.
Those are also linked to me.
Okay.
I'm going to think about that. That's good.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hit it again.
Great.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be getting into the questions, but we might come back to that one as well. So, yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We have entered into the question portion of the podcast.
Yeah.
How you doing so far?
I'm doing great. How are you
Great.
doing?
I'm doing good.
This is the part I'm so interested about.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. If
You've
it's
been
gonna be
talking about
that.
these 10 questions. I'm like, what do they
I don't want to build them
entail?
up that
It's like, what's your
much.
favorite color? Like, what's your, like,
Oh, what is
I don't
your
have
favorite color?
a favorite. As a kid, it was blue. Always
Same.
blue.
Oh,
Now
that's
it's like, I just like pastels, I think.
okay, that's fine.
I think it's lavender. It's like yellow.
Sure.
I don't know. Depends on the day.
Blue's great.
Blue is great. Is it royal blue for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tone of the color matters a
Yeah.
lot. For me, it was like aqua.
Aqua's cool.
I liked the ocean.
I mean, yeah, of
So
course.
that's why.
Okay.
Anyway, changes on
That
the
was,
daily.
yeah, that was not question one.
That wasn't question one. That was question 0.5.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
Question one. Do you remember when we first met and what you thought about me?
Oh, I do. I do, Steven.
Okay.
Are you allowed to say it back? You should think
Yes.
about this. I do, I think.
Okay.
So I think this was the time we met. I was talking to John Mays at Centricity, and we had gone to, actually, let me go back
Let's go back.
a little bit.
Let's go back a little bit.
So I was a senior at Belmont,
Okay.
and I played something on campus called Christian Showcase, which is part of a showcase series that Belmont has on campus. And there's like one for each genre. So it's like country showcase, pop showcase, whatever. And it's much like American Idol. You video audition and then you send in songs. And then if you make it to the lives, that's like a big deal.
Yeah.
Made it to the lives the first year and didn't get it. Tried again and did get into the main show, which is 4 students playing their original songs for the whole school, which I felt like was so fun.
Yeah,
like such a fun thing to do with my friends. And
Yeah.
it's like a big deal on campus. Like everybody comes, it's great. And we just had the best time. My band and I had a blast, ended up winning it. Crazy. I didn't know, thank God, that the labels also come to it.
Yes.
Lots of labels come to it. There's lots of stuff surrounding that. So we won that showcase, and all of a sudden I had meetings with all these labels.
Yeah.
And I remember getting an email, and it was the current A&R intern at Centricity
Nice.
who said, Mr. Mays would like to meet with you
Whoa.
in this email. And I said,
big deal.
Mr. Mays? I did not know who this was.
Goodness.
I did not know. I was like, Mr. Mays? Okay. So I'm like,
He's gonna love this.
I'm like researching. He knows, I think.
Okay, good.
No, I said this story at my signing at Centricity. Crazy. He knows. But so I go in and I meet with him and these 2 new guys that he had just hired, James and Matt. And like, I mean, brand new, like maybe a matter of weeks that they'd been there.
Wow.
And it was funny. Like they didn't quite know what they were doing yet. They were like just settling into the office, whatever. And he was like, we do this retreat thing where we take songwriters just like up into the mountains for a week and we write songs. And I was like, that sounds like you're kidnapping people. I'm not sure about that. The way they described it, I was like, wow. But I was like, sure, I'd love to go on that. Keep in mind, that was 2019.
Sure.
The retreat was set to happen in 2020.
Yeah.
Ended up not happening. But I just kept in touch with John. So as soon as we could meet up again after that, he's like, let's have lunch again.
Mm-hmm.
And I show up at Tito's.
Amazing.
I think it was Tito's. Maybe it was
Was I there?
It was a different Mexican place.
It was Sopapias.
Sopapias. And now it was John and James and Matt and this new intern, Steven.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And I think you were pretty new to the internship.
I must have been.
Like really new because, I mean, you were just listening.
Mm-hmm.
I said hi, and I don't know if you said anything else.
Probably not.
That meeting, which now it's like, that's just like your personality to like want to listen and be there. And so yeah, I just remember thinking you were cool but quiet.
Sure.
Which is still true.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I remember like, yeah, you were just young and like eager to like work hard. And that's exactly all I knew about you.
Sure.
But then I don't think I really got to know you until the retreat when it actually happened in 22.
I don't remember getting to know you then at all.
Really?
I remember being busy.
Yeah. You were busy. But there were like a couple times we like sat near each other at a meal or something.
Okay, great. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember by the time we got back from the retreat and we decided we were going to work together, and John said, Steven and I will be your A&Rs. By then I felt like I trusted you enough for you to be my A&R.
That's the blessing.
So so like it wasn't like, oh no, you know?
Yeah.
By then I felt like I knew you well enough to where we could make music together.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell my side of the story.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, I was a very young intern, probably very quiet.
Yeah.
I remember Marcus was there.
Yep.
It was my first time in Sopapias, so I was like, dude, I don't know about this place, but it was really good.
It was pretty good. Marcus told his entire story that day.
He did. I remember him talking about doing the Olympics. I was like, that's freaking nuts, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember sitting with you and like, okay, yeah, like, what are we doing here? I was like still so new to A&R, just like, okay, we're meeting with an artist, but like, what's the purpose of all this? I have no idea what's going on.
Yes.
And I came away with it with like, okay, yeah, I guess it was a good meeting. I don't know. But the next time, or one of the next times that I saw you, I didn't see you in person. We didn't interact, but you had gone back to Belmont. You had already graduated, but you went back to do the showcase again, just as like an alumni guest performer because someone had to drop out.
Yes.
Maybe COVID. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, they have a headliner come back sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And boy, howdy, it was incredible.
Really?
Yes.
Great.
I was like, this is unbelievable. And you weren't getting enough love in the crowd.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, how are we just sitting here calmly? Like, this is so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So after that, I remember going back, I guess I was still an intern, going back to the office and be like, we need to move on this person as soon as possible. This is so great.
I don't even know if I knew you were there.
There's no way you did. Nobody knew. It was freaking great.
Just come to this stuff.
That's how we do. We move in shadow.
You literally, that's crazy. Okay, yeah, great.
So yeah, I came back talking you up, and then you had another show at the Mockingbird.
Yes.
That I think was just you for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
It was me and my band.
Yeah.
And I remember it not being my favorite show we played.
I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. Maze went to that one.
You did enjoy it?
Yeah. Because
I remember it like me being
really?
Like, nah. Yeah.
Oh, dude, me and Maze both went to that one because I had talked up your performance at Showcase so much. He was like, okay, fine, I'll go check it out. But we both came away from that being like, okay, yeah, she's legit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So then when we get to the retreat, like I said, I don't remember.
But there was so long between that. That show was like early 2020, I think.
I mean, maybe.
The Mockingbird show.
No way. It had to be 21. It had to be. Because I wasn't an intern until
maybe.
then.
Yeah. I remember things being like half shut down and weird, but like they were still having shows. Like it was like weird. Mm-hmm. So anyway, maybe it was 21.
Yeah.
But I mean, I started talking to Maze in 19.
Yeah.
So it felt like a long time between all that stuff and COVID was occurring as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the retreat, we get back and Maze and I, we do a one-on-one every month or try to, just for updates, life, work, progress, stuff like that. And in one of our meetings, he was like, Steven, I think you're ready to have an artist.
Wow.
And I think And he was like, I've never done this, but I think maybe we should work on Natalie's stuff together. And I was like, I've never done this either.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
So we decided that and then took it to y'all to see if you'd be comfortable with it. And obviously you were. And now we've been working together for 2 years.
So crazy.
2-ish?
2. It'll be 2 in
Yeah.
December.
Yeah, there you go.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And now I couldn't imagine it any other way.
Yeah, same.
And I'm so glad John thought I was ready to start
me too.
working with someone. And I'm so glad it was you.
I'm so glad it was me. That's crazy. Yeah, people ask me about my A&Rs all the time. And because I think, a lot of people have beef with their label. A lot of people
and
don't
rightfully
have good
so in most cases, I'd say.
Like it makes sense, right? But people ask me about my A&Rs and I'm like, dude, I kind of hit the A&R jackpot with that actually, because we have Maze, who is like, has been doing this for so long, has broken so many artists, and also is like such a gentle guy.
Yeah.
Such a genuine guy, and has kept like a spirit of humility. I don't know how you do that when so many people are jaded when they're his age.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like, that is a work of God. So you have that. And then I was like, and then I have Steven, who's like new, but his instincts are so good. The music he listens to informs the way he makes music. Like, it just is so good. Yeah. So I feel like I have like 2 opposite ends of the spectrum that have like really helped me.
Yeah.
And that I've loved making music with you guys.
That's great.
So anyway, I'm so glad we don't have beef,
Not yet.
Wouldn't that suck?
Not yet.
That would be, it's only been 2 years, but it's been 2 years. And that's
been
pretty
2 freaking
cool
years. Yeah.
That we don't hate each other, Like, that's pretty cool that you'd ask me to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to go back to something you said twice in this question. You said it's been great, or I think I can make music with him. In your perspective, you think A&Rs make music with you? Interesting.
Yeah. Well, because I go, my music would not be exactly the way it is had you not been there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, because, and I want you guys and I want publishers to also see that, like, they're involved into and like interwoven into the process from the beginning. Yeah. Like you or Centricity Publishing has booked that co-write for me. They put us in a room to even have that creative thing happen.
Sure.
Which we probably wouldn't have been there on that day with those people had it not been for you guys. And then we, send you the song. You're the first ears to hear it. You're the first people to say, this is great, or this is not great, or here's what we should tweak, or whatever. Like, you're directly speaking into how the song ends up.
Yeah.
And then you you take it through the stages of like production, and then like all the detail work that you do is crazy. And I'm so glad I don't have to do that. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Like you're so involved in all the steps that it's like, we basically did that together.
That's cool. Yeah.
And I don't know how, like, y'all don't really think that.
I don't.
Seems like.
Not at all whatsoever. I think I help empower artists to make their music, or I help guide them creatively to make their music.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have necessarily said we're making it together.
We're totally making it together.
I guess so.
We totally are making it together. Yeah. I think about, like, maybe this is helpful if it's like an example that's not your example. Sure. This is a May's example. Do you remember when we were making Don't Want to Know? And we turned it in, and he goes, this vocal's not right.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, what about it's not right? Like, I couldn't hear that, really. Yeah. I was like, this is just how I sing, I think.
This is my voice.
If it's not right, you can get someone else. Yeah. No, but and he just like described the feeling that it needed to have. And then we went back in, and I like it way more now,
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't sound the way it does had he not said that.
Sure.
We would have kept the other version. And not to say that that would have been better or worse. It's way different. But I like this one better, personally, and that's just like his stamp on it. That just wouldn't have happened had he not been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay.
Yeah. And that's why we work with other people in general.
Yeah.
Because we want to make the best music we can. And again, accountability on what we're doing. Like, I think that's a huge part of like having a label is like, now you have other people to keep you creatively accountable.
Yeah.
And to try to make the best music you can. Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In that same vein, question number 2.
Yeah.
How do you feel about our relationship now?
Oh my God. They're good questions.
Thank you.
Like the beginning and the most recent. How do I feel about our relationship now? I think when we started working together, it's crazy. It'll be 2 years since we signed in December. I think I didn't know where we'd be because it's like an A&R is specifically kind of a strange. It can be a strange relationship because it's like it's a work relationship, but you also hope to be friends.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like you hope that it's like it's a trusting relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You like you hope you can be honest and you hope you can, And so I think, you and John have done a really great job of that, of like giving me a space to just be friends. Like I really do believe we'd be friends even if we didn't work together.
Yeah.
And like that's a cool thing because not all of my friends who are artists have that.
Sure.
And so I think we're in a better place than I even thought we would be. I didn't know if something would go down that would like make it weird.
Yeah.
Or if work would get in the way of us also being friends,
Yeah.
And I think I'm just so grateful that it hasn't, and that we can like do both and hold both. And then it like that's really special.
Yeah.
To get to do, And so I think, I don't know. I think with friends, like, it's always a personality thing. Like, do you like hanging out with this person? Do you whatever? And I've like so appreciated the way as my friend that you make space for conversation, for real honesty. You ask such good questions. Like, what are we doing literally right now? Literally right now we're being introspective, And that's great for me. Like for me to have friends that ask good questions and make sure I'm doing okay and encourage me is like really huge. And so I feel great about it. I feel so grateful that we can hold two things at the same time.
That's very well said.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know if it comes across that way to you, but like, yeah, I'm just really grateful.
Yeah, I can definitely see a world where the relationship between the A&R and the artist is very transactional or necessary.
Yeah.
Not quite enriching as I feel like our relationship is. And you're right. I'm also grateful for that. And I didn't know what it would look like. People always would tell me before I landed in A&R, even as an intern, like A&R is such a relational job.
So
but
true.
Like people can just say that all day until blue in the face, but you won't know it until you're actually doing it.
Yes.
It's just so true. And like there are definitely levels of relationship between the people you meet.
Sure.
But you and I are so close because we're working on something that is so precious and important to you.
Yeah.
And we need to have that trust. Not even musically, just personally. For you to then come to me with something musical and be like, hey, what do you think of this? Or should I touch this up? And for me to be honest, be like, I like this. It could be better.
Yeah.
Because even if I just said, I like this, it could be better, that could be damaging if I'm a stranger.
Sure.
But for us to get to know each other and work through hardships and celebrate victories, that's just immeasurable. Yeah. And I didn't know what would have happened within the past 2 years. But I'm glad we're in a good place.
Yeah.
I feel like it's great.
It's very good to be able to trust each other.
For sure.
Like in that, you know what I mean? You're right. If a stranger said, I not even I liked it. Like, you could tell me that you hated something and I'd be like, okay, you know?
Wow, yeah.
Like, but if a stranger was like, I hate this, I'd be like, go away. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool to have that for sure. I just think it's rare and I don't want to forget that, you know? Yeah. And so I try to remember that. And as I'm talking to my friends who do have problems with their A&R or whatever, I'm like, man, just hold on to this because it's probably better than I deserve. You know, it's probably better than I deserve.
I don't know if that's true.
I think so. I think so.
I think there's just the trust can be so easily broken.
Yeah.
Musically, personally, and that causes everything to suffer. Like your thoughts about me or the label or the songs you're making or the people you're working with or your career trajectory. Just like any one thing could set so many of those other things off. And I would hate to do that.
So scary. Don't say that. That's so
You're
scary.
Right. Scratch it off on the record.
Nope. Wow.
Not to say that you or other artists are fragile, but just like
you know.
Very good. Very good.
Sometimes we are. Though.
Yes, sometimes you are.
Because
everyone is.
Because, like we talked about earlier, we're like woven into our art.
Yes.
Like it is personal.
Yeah.
And you can't fully distance yourself all the time. That's why it's hard.
Totally.
Because there's not a disconnect, you know?
That was something I was so nervous about when Maze asked me, like, hey, I think we should work on Natalie stuff together. I was like, I'm so afraid that I will be part of ruining her dream.
You can't.
And this is way too much to put on myself.
Ruin my dream.
I know.
I don't think you could.
I agree with you. But in my lowest moment, that's where my anxiety went.
Interesting.
Like, I'm going to be the one responsible for not having enough musical knowledge or not being cool enough or not knowing where the market's going or like just not gelling with you and what you want to make, that I'm going to be the one responsible
Absolutely
for
not.
her not making her dream. And how stupid is that?
That's
Isn't
not
that
it.
ridiculous?
That's not it at all.
But I've thought that for every person that I've worked with.
Yeah.
When we signed them. Thought it with Faye, thought it with Rachel. I'm like,
dude, you're
Steven,
not going to crush
stop.
their dreams. You're actually kind of making their dreams, which is great.
It's
kind of cool. I don't know.
I wonder why that's where my brain goes immediately. Just me not being good enough to be in the equation.
Maybe this is not the right thing to say, but you don't have the power to crush our dreams.
You're right.
You're
don't. So right.
I'm sorry. And maybe in some people's heads, like A&Rs or labels do, but to me it's like, nah.
Yeah,
like
I could
again,
not
if
exist.
It's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It would be happening differently if we weren't working together.
Totally.
But I don't know. Nobody has the power to
I'm not that powerful. Yeah, it's crazy.
Even though you're speaking a lot into it. It's just going to be okay.
Okay.
Can I ask one thing with that?
Ask, please.
When you're talking about how being an A&R is such a relational job, like, is that ever hard for your personality? Because we talk about how like both of us are introverts.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, and like you're very introspective. Now you're good at drawing things out of people, which I think is like so invaluable for your job. But like, yeah, is it hard for your personality sometimes? Like, do you get drained by that ever? How relational you have to be?
Yes, for sure. Something that helps me is just knowing my schedule.
Yes. Yeah.
So I know what's coming up and I know who I'm meeting with. And I can be like, okay, last time we talked about this and this. Like, I'm not just like going in blind. I don't know. It's truly a miracle. I have a terrible memory. Terrible.
Sometimes you take notes.
Yes, that helps.
Which is always like, that's incredible. Yeah.
So yeah, knowing a meeting is coming is great.
Yeah.
I think a real trick is ask the questions and then just listen.
I do that too.
That way I don't have to talk as much. Like I feel like talking drains me more than listening does.
Sure.
Because usually I don't have much to say, but it seems like everyone else has a lot to say. So I could just sit there.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So that's
this
a good
is why
tactic.
Our relationship is kind of interesting to me, because usually I'm the one asking the questions, but you ask very good questions that draw things out of me. I don't know. Also a reason why you're great at your job.
I suppose.
Love that. Sorry, carry on.
No. You're good. Taking time to be by myself is helpful.
Yeah.
I just came back from a trip to Colorado, your home state.
Was it wonderful?
It was amazing. I was out there for about a week by myself, doing random stuff.
Come on.
Some of it nature, some of it shows, some of it just going around the city, and it was awesome.
Nice.
Just being alone is amazing.
Isn't it great?
It's
it's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very clarifying and helpful.
Gosh. So just being mindful, like, okay, it's been a couple months. I should take a vacation, go away, be by myself.
Love it.
That helps restore me a lot. And even this show has been great, like having a creative outlet, even though it's a pain in my butt when I'm editing. Like, this is the fun part. This is the fun part.
Yeah, we're having a good time.
But like editing sucks, making social clips sucks, captioning sucks. Social media next year, it's going to suck. It just...
Is it?
I think
Schedule it out and don't think about it. We can talk about that later.
Yes, we should.
Social media.
Those are some things. Just knowing what's coming, taking breaks, having a creative outlet.
That's good.
Yeah.
You make it work for you.
Yeah. And I get to talk about music, which I love. I get to listen, which I love. So it's things that I like doing.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You make it work for your personality and for what you love. It's cool.
Totally.
And you're still doing the thing you love, which I love.
Yeah. Okay, question 3.
Okay.
How can I be a better friend to you?
Oh. You ask me that quite a bit. That's like not a new question. That's you say it in different ways, I guess. You say, how can I help? What can I do?
True.
You know?
Yeah.
How can I pray? Is there anything I can do?
And
I really appreciate that. I think not a lot of people ask what they can do.
Let's talk about this.
Okay.
I'm fascinated. And the last time I grabbed lunch, I was telling you, can I help you is one of the things I'm fixating on right now. That's just something I'm so touched by, even though I'm asking other people. Just like
it's so
the posture
sweet.
of that question
It's like so
is so open and helpful. And I like helping people. I should analyze that. I wonder why I'm so into that recently. I don't know. Whatever.
Do you feel weird when people ask you that question?
Not necessarily weird, but
or have not enough people ask you that question?
Some people have asked it to me back.
Yeah.
I don't ever have an answer for them. Kind of like this question. Some people have had answers. Most people have not. They're like, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah.
If I would answer this question about you, I would say, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. You're already so great and like thoughtful and
that's really kind.
Fun and helpful, and I don't know.
I like being your friend. Yeah, it's a good time.
Great.
Yeah, same. Like, I mean, I always just think like if you're not constantly asking questions, then you're probably not like you're not getting what you could out of the friendship, you know, and you're not loving that person probably as well as you could because you don't know what's going on or what they need. And so, I mean, I think asking questions like that is how we can be the best friends to each other.
Ooh, that's good.
But you already do that. So that's what I'm saying. It's like,
I think
okay. I'm just affirming that is a strong suit of yours that not everybody has is like, yeah, you're constantly giving encouragement, constantly asking questions. And I just think it says a lot about you and that you're staying curious about me and where we are. And even this, you're like just asking questions. Like we just always need to be asking questions, I think, because I don't know. It just gives like I'm interested in you and what you need and how I can help more than I'm interested about me or like talking about me or whatever. Like if we're asking each other, then we're both taken care of.
Yeah.
But it's like by the other person, you know?
Totally.
That's why I just think
Maybe that's a tip for you, dear listener.
Dear listener.
Ask your friends more questions.
Ask a question.
They might really appreciate it.
Yeah. I love that that question specifically. How can I help?
Yeah.
What could I do to lighten your load? Like, so many people would probably sob if you said that to them. How could I lighten your load? How can I lighten your load? Could I do anything?
That is nice.
You know?
Yeah.
That's nice. It almost makes you feel lighter when you hear it.
Yeah. Ooh.
You're like,
just knowing someone's
somebody
there
wants
to be like,
to like help me
they can
with
shoulder this
like,
with
shoulder
me.
the burden. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should change my question.
Dear listener. No.
But I like the alliteration there. It's good.
Yeah. I do too.
Well, shoot, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more questions. Hello, and welcome back. We've gone through the first 3 questions so far. Very good. Thank you for your responses.
Thank you for your questions.
Do you know what makes a man yet?
Never know what makes a man.
You can't sing that every time.
Yes, I can. Gravity. No, do you know what makes a man?
I gave you the tender and tough.
I love that answer. I'm stealing it.
Do it. If that's your answer, then that's fine. Okay.
That's going to be my answer.
I like it. Yeah, obviously.
Because it's like, what does that mean, you know?
I've gotten recurring responses from other people, like emotional intelligence.
So
that's
good.
one. Integrity, humility.
Yeah.
Someone whose actions match their words. Someone who's willing to take responsibility for their actions and remember they're wrong.
Good too.
But of course you have but some people have identified the underlying thought underneath this question of like, okay, do these characteristics only lie with men? Like,
sure.
Because the things people are saying, like, that could be anyone. It could just be any person. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think tender tough could be anyone.
But I do too.
To say that specifically
right,
about
so
a
that's
man
the part I'm trying to figure out.
is interesting. Because I feel like that's not normal.
Yeah, it's not as regular for men probably. So that's maybe why we feel the need to say it.
Maybe that's why I love it so much.
Yeah. But some of the differences are interesting. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, what could we say only about a man?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
And would I want to? I don't think I would.
And would I want to? I think there are some things.
We'll think about that and we'll get to it.
All right. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Good, we'll get back to it here.
Oh, interesting. Question number 4.
Yeah.
What matters most to you right now?
I love that question. I love that question. Okay, we're bringing it back around to something we talked a little bit about before, which is what is success to you? And so what matters to you? And so I always used to say within my job, within my musical craft, like when people would say, what does success look like to you? And I was like 18, you know?
Of course.
I would have been like, when I am making music and it's my full-time living,
sure,
that is success to me.
A lot of people have that answer.
And I think it's a great answer.
Sure.
Because then anything else is just the cherry on top, you know? And I think it's just so rare that we get to do this job. Like, everybody wants our job.
Yeah.
You know?
Kind of wild.
Everybody wants our job. I wanted my job 4 years ago, you know? And so I think I'm just realizing now, like, it's not like once I have this job, it'll be just like this forever. Or like, it'll only go up from here forever. It's like, no, there might be a time where, again, I'm back to a place where I'm not making a full-time living doing music. There might be a time of that again. And what happens if that's the case? You know? Will I feel unsuccessful if it gets to that? You know? And so then, so it's just, I'm just trying to like remember that it's so rare that we get to do this and such a gift and a thing that a lot of people want. And so I like want to do it justice while I'm doing it too, you know, and I want to enjoy it and you know, like I just want to take it in while I'm here for however long it looks like this.
Totally.
And I think it'll look a lot of different ways, but so it matters to me to like press into where I am, to be grateful and enjoy where I am. That matters a lot to me right now.
Yeah.
What matters a lot to me right now too is like, just like the dream changes too.
Ooh,
once you
I like this.
Because I mean, I used to think, okay, my dream is like to like sing on a stage and like, you know, and make music for a living and do this and do it for the Lord and whatever. All the stuff. And now when I think of like, what's the dream? My dream is to make music that matters. And like emphasis on that matters, you know? Like if I'm just making music that's noise, anybody could do that, you know?
Yeah.
And so now the dream is like a lot of what we're seeing on tour now, and I'm like so thankful, is like looking into people's faces every night and for them to say like, this song has changed my life. Or like, this song is the reason why I'm still here. Or like, I got some stories to tell you as well. We'll do that later. That's crazy. And so that's my dream now, is like for the music to matter in a way that goes beyond the song into someone's actual life. And it's done that for me, you know, but the fact that it could do that for someone that like lives far away from me and I never like thought could hear my music, you know? So that's the dream within my career right now, for sure. And that matters a lot to me, to see the music matter.
Yeah.
And I think all of that just relates back to like, we all want to have a purpose behind what we're doing. And so if it's just like, we don't really get to see that, that's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
So for me being on the road right now, I'm getting to see that. And I'm like, it's so cool.
That's so great.
It's so crazy. So that's the dream. That's what matters to me right now. People are mattering more the longer I'm like doing this. Those people that I don't know that listen to my music, and like also the people that I work with. And I've almost said this before in something we were talking about, but like the fact that like my dream is coming true for me, and hopefully also your dream is coming true for you, being an A&R and doing this together is crazy. You know what I mean? And so like a
right,
big part of my prayer and like what matters to me right now is that other people would feel so fulfilled in what they've been called to do by doing this together. And that like somehow God has called us all into our individual paths that like work together, that like fulfill all these dreams at once.
Yeah.
And it's not just everybody working to fulfill my dream.
Yeah.
It's also me working to fulfill theirs, you know?
Man, that's good.
So that matters to me right now. People are mattering more.
What a great answer. Wow.
I think about that a lot. What matters to you right now?
It's kind of similar, but not the way I'm going to get there is completely different.
All right, let's go on the journey.
So the answer being people mattering to me right now. This won't get dangerous, I promise. But to date this specific episode, we just had a presidential election.
Yes.
And of course, with every election, you have half of the country who's very upset and half the country who's very excited.
Yes. Oh man, what a week. Half of my friends are so mad and half of them are so happy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
And I was on the side of the people who were upset, and I guess I still am. It's very fresh.
It's very fresh.
The day of recording.
Yeah.
But I started to think, and I'm going to quote 7 Habits again here.
Come on.
Think of my circle of influence and my circle of concern. The circle of concern is so large right now. Yeah. And always will be. But the circle of influence.
Come on.
The people that I can actually have an impact on.
Yes.
Is incredibly small. What if I leaned into that?
Yeah, dude.
So starting with myself, like, okay, what do me want to do to grow that circle? Not just so I can say I have more influence on people, but to be like, I'm doing me so much that people want to step in.
Yo, that's so good. Yeah.
So like, I was thinking, okay, there's so many people who are upset, some people who are afraid of what might happen with new laws that might get passed or directives or just the way one side might treat the other. Like, how can I stand with the people who are going to be disenfranchised?
Yeah.
Where do I need to put myself to stand in front of them? Oh, geez.
Come on.
Oh, geez.
Come on.
Stand in front of them and take whatever abuse they're going to get. Like, nah, bro. You got to get through me.
Yeah.
They're in my circle. Oh, boy.
Come on. Say that. Yeah.
I want the people who are afraid to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
And it's not just people who look like them or who identify the same way that they do. Like, there are people out there who support them, want to be there for them, even if they don't know who they are. So I'm deciding, like, okay, people matter most to me right now. How do I get out there and volunteer for something? How do I get out there and show up, or just either be a voice or be a body somewhere to prove, like, even like he talks the talk, like he really believes that he was there. He's showing up for these people. Yeah. I don't want to just be by the wayside.
I love that.
So that's what matters most.
That's so cool. Isn't it crazy how sometimes it takes like an election or a big thing happening to go, yo, okay, what am I doing in my community right now? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because that's what it always comes back to that for all of us, is like, we can't affect the entire nation the way that we're like expecting and hoping a president to.
Absolutely.
But we can affect our community. I always think of Mother Teresa says, she goes, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And I'm like, ooh, like, all right.
Yeah.
Do I know my neighbors?
I don't.
I know like a couple.
Yeah.
And it's like, not, do I like, I don't know, just how am I pouring into people? Am I volunteering? Am I, like,
exactly.
It takes something big like this for us to go, no, let's do it. And that is the way the world changes.
Amen.
And
like, part of me
care of each other.
hates that it took this for me to finally realize it, but part of me is glad. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
Thank God something shook me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I want to get out there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
this happens to me every election. And and listen, something changes
so we'll
every
talk
time.
again in 4 years. We'll see how you change.
It's different thing every time,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Question number 5. What are you holding on to that's holding you back?
I don't want to answer that question.
Is that so?
I don't want to answer that question. Holding on to that's holding me back, dude. The like picture I keep coming back to is like, if your hands are full of something that you're not meant to be holding, there's just no room for anything else. And like sometimes you got to drop it to like have room.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I think right now it's hard because it's like, and at different points in my life, it's been hard because there's so much happening, and sometimes there's so much good happening that you start to have to decipher between what's good and what's best.
Yeah.
And like, it's not necessarily like this stuff is bad for me and this stuff is good. It's like, there's all this happening, like, God help me decipher what's the best thing to like spend time on. And time has been like a hard thing to figure out recently. There's just a lot going on. And so it's like, where do I best put my time? It's hard too, because some of it is like, I have such a great community and I like want to invest in people, but it looks different right now. And like, I can't see my friends as much as I used to. And totally. I can't, like, that's really hard. And, my friends have been so great and like, get that, but it's like, no, I want to do what matters to me there too.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like letting go of some of how I thought it would look.
Yeah.
Or like some things that used to work that don't anymore. And it's like, but you loved how it looked back then. But maybe it's going to be different and better, and maybe it's just changing, and change isn't always a bad thing. Like, so I'm just learning what different things look like in different seasons, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Holding on to that's holding you back. That's crazy.
Thank you.
You're crazy for that. You're crazy for that. Do you have anything?
Bear with me. You and the audience bear with me.
Okay, all right.
I just finished a video game trilogy called.
It's not what I thought you were going to say at all.
I know. Bear with me.
Okay.
Called the Zero Escape series.
Okay.
The first game is called 999. Second game, Virtue's Last Reward. The third game, Zero Time Dilemma.
Okay.
I love the first two. The last one's fine.
All right. Video game reviews here too.
Yes.
Folks.
The first two, or really all of them, deal with a lot of quantum ideology of like, is time set?
Time's not real. I have lots of thoughts about this. Go ahead.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think these games do a very good job of just making you question that. And
Yeah.
like these are like text-based games, so it's not like an action adventure thing. It's like almost like a comic book or a graphic novel that you're like playing.
Okay.
But the way you play it is you go down, you make decisions throughout the game, and you can go and choose to vote one way or the other, and then that branch happens and you continue that way. And
Choose
like,
Your Own Adventure.
Yes.
I love those books.
and you get to an end, and then you have the ability to go back to like your first decision and choose the opposite thing. And then go down another branch, which then has other branches with other voting situations.
You'd imagine if we had that with life. That's great.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Well, do we? Considering
No.
like,
I don't think so.
like, and this is in the game, considering like the multi-worlds
Yeah.
theory of like, I'm going to choose to pick this up right now. In another world, I didn't pick that up. What happens after today when I didn't pick that up in that world? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very cool, heady, thoughtful stuff.
Yes.
And two of the games, like there's a section that talks about Schrodinger's cat. Like if you put the cat in the box and you have like the noxious fumes and the cat knocks it over, but you don't know. You can't open the box. You can't shake the box to check. Is the cat dead or alive? The answer is yes and, or no, but like who knows?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
But
Okay.
if you were to think the cat is alive and
Yes.
you open the box and the cat is alive,
Would it be?
did you inform that? Was the cat alive until you thought such a thing? I don't know.
Huh.
And just that.
This is so.
I know.
Yep.
I told you to bear with me.
Yep. Great.
Taking that idea and thinking, does the future influence the past as much as the past influences the future? I think I'm holding on to the past a little too much.
Yeah.
We got there.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know if I subscribe to the fact that like if I were to roll a die and I cover it up and I think it's on 6 and it's on 6, I did that.
Yeah. No.
But like,
Oh wow.
yeah, what if the future colors the past and vice versa? What if it's not all linear? Like, what if there is freedom to choose different things that is normal?
Crazy.
So yeah, I think I'm just holding on to the
dude.
idea of the past being
Does that right?
set, because like human memory is so unreliable. Like
It's true.
maybe you remember the smell or the feeling, not the truth and the facts of the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if I'm holding on to bitterness or sadness too much?
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah. What is that? Like, what does it kind of manifest as? Like grief sometimes.
Yeah, a lot
Maybe
of that.
guilt sometimes.
Absolutely, you're hitting on.
You know
all
what I
of it.
mean?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And what if I just freed myself? What if future me influenced the past me? Ooh, crazy, bro.
Yo, but you can influence it for good. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. And listen, perspective is the whole thing, right?
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
it's like, yeah, I think we can choose to literally torment ourselves with that stuff, or we can choose to be free, for sure. And it's like, well, that's also a process. It's not like I choose this
True,
one
true.
time and now I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but we definitely have choice in that, you know?
Yeah.
But it takes so long. Time is not real, is the thing.
Let's talk about this.
Time is not real. Let's
Okay.
just remember that God lives outside of time.
Sure.
/ he lives in all time at once. Okay? So when we say God is omnipotent, omnipresent is everywhere at once. Omnipotent is in all time at once. So the time, like he's in this moment as much as he was with us 5 minutes ago. He's also still there
Yeah.
while he's here,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy.
It is crazy.
So he's in all time at once. So that has influenced my theology so much in the way that I think about God, because I mean, I think it explains so much as like to how we have free will, but he also knows what we're going to do because he's in that moment where we choose it.
Yeah.
Two, he's in this moment when I'm saying it. Like he's in all the things. So he's like experiencing it all at once. But I also think it's so cool because it's like if that's true, that he's in all the things at once, then that means he's still at the cross. He's still at the resurrection. So the sanctifying work of the cross is always happening for him.
Sheesh.
You know?
Oh,
and
boy.
the victory of the resurrection is always happening for him through all time.
That's good.
All the time.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament as well. Since the beginning of time. He's been there and looking, you know? So it's like,
bro,
that's just true. He's in all time. So that helps me so much to go in all the whatever places I thought I was wrong, the places I will be, like, he's there too. And he's here now. And it's like,
yeah, that's good.
It just helps me a lot in my finiteness to know that he's omnipotent.
Yeah.
And in all those moments, you know?
Whew.
Anyway, time's not real.
I love that.
We kind of made it up.
No,
he's in all the time.
Did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I don't know. I'm sorry. That was really deep, really
don't
fast.
be sorry.
But
I'm sorry for bringing all my stuff up.
No. But that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, he's just in all of it, you know? And he like he knows how you're going to choose in the future too. Mm-hmm. And that maybe some of that is why the past happened the way it did, because he knew what the future you would choose too. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's kind of freeing to know that he knows all of it. You know, when we don't know all of it. I don't know.
Jeez.
I don't know if we're going to be outside of time too later, but I don't know.
I hope not.
I don't know. I don't think I could handle it.
I could not, for sure.
I could handle more than this moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of this moment,
yep.
We're moving on.
Let's go.
To question 6.
Okay.
When was the last time you made yourself proud?
Oh, I love that. The last time, I'm trying to think what. I would love to say that it's all the time, but it's just not.
Sure.
So proud, man. Oh, I mean, this is just a little thing, but last night I was looking through, like all the photos I've taken this year. I have like a photo album on my phone. Because I was feeling some type of way of like, oh, like, what have we been doing the last few, like, what have I been doing this year? Like, I don't know. I just get in my head about stuff.
Yeah.
And I just needed to look back. And sometimes there are different ways that I do that. Sometimes I look through my journals or like, just, you know, think about it, talk to the Lord about it, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was looking through these pictures and I was like, I know there's a lot that has happened between these pictures, you know, like this doesn't describe my whole life, but like looking at these, like I have a pretty full life.
Yeah.
Like, and I've built a really cool thing that I'm like really proud of, you know, in Nashville. And I don't know, I think back to like growing up in Colorado and how like that was such a great time too. And sometimes, like you're saying with like all the different paths we could have taken.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm like, what if I was still back in Colorado? What would my life look like if I had chosen that?
Yeah.
But then I look at my life here and I'm like, wow, like there's something really cool that's happening here. Like my community's so great.
Yeah.
And like this stuff, I'm like loving my life right now. And like, it's just, so I'm proud of what I'm building, I guess. Which I can't always say, but I made myself proud last night looking at pictures like, this is sweet. We got a good thing going, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my answer for this episode is going to be the Denver trip I took.
So proud.
Since getting divorced, I have taken a lot of trips by myself and gone to a lot of shows and done things by myself. And I traditionally had thought I don't like doing stuff by myself, especially big experiences like that. I want to share that with someone. And that is still true. But goodness, it just felt so freeing to be somewhere I had basically never been, seeing things I'd never seen, exploring it all for myself, and just having the confidence in myself to be like, you can do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're grown.
What did you do while you were there? Can I ask that?
A bunch of nothing and a bunch of some things.
Cool. Did you have any good food?
I did. I had the Colorado pizza.
You did not. You went to Bojo's without me?
Yes.
I actually told you to go there. That's unfortunate. Did you put honey on your crust? Or
I don't like honey. There's that. So no, I did not.
That's like half of it to me.
Oh,
Anyways,
well, shoot.
it's all right.
Yeah, I had pizza, which is great. I had pizza all the time. I loved it.
Love it.
The main reason I went out there was to see a show, see Zed at Red Rocks. Phenomenal. Best. Zed had the best set I will ever see.
Really? Do you think it's your favorite concert?
No.
Oh. That was
but definitely the best set of an artist I will ever see.
Wow.
Sure. Yes.
That's unbelievable.
So that was huge and wonderful, and I'm glad I did that. Went to another EDM show randomly that I found another night. Went and hiked at Palmer Lake from your suggestion. Love that.
I haven't been there in so long. Is it cool?
It's gorgeous.
Great.
Went up to Estes Park, drove through there.
Yes. That's my favorite.
Beautiful, beautiful drive.
I love that drive.
I'm realizing I love nature more and more. Especially mountains. So yeah, just getting away and doing something by myself, whatever I wanted in a different place, was just like, I'm really doing this.
Yeah, you are.
And like in one of my hikes, I just felt so creatively inspired that like I did this thing that I do once a year, it seems. I don't plan this, but like every year I get the urge to sing something.
And I love that time.
Every year,
I love that
once a
time
year.
in Steven's life. Last year, didn't you put it on Instagram?
I did, and this year I did too. I guess not.
You did?
Just not this year. Yes.
This year?
In 2024, yes.
Maybe this last one was this year.
So
okay,
this 25,
all right.
Probably not yet, but 24, yes, I did do that.
About once a year.
Yeah, but like I was just like, man, I'm shooting so much stuff on one of these camcorders.
Yeah.
Let me like chop some of this footage up and like let me sing a song that I'm loving. I sang McGee's "You Got It."
So
Love
good.
McGee.
Great.
I was like, yeah, let me post this. I just felt creatively inspired. So like getting away by myself, feeling creatively inspired.
That did something for you.
Acting on that creative inspiration, which I, again, really only do once a year. I guess this would be twice now. It just felt good to be human. Right?
It felt good to be human. Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
Not know what I'm doing, just like experiencing and running off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm proud of you for that too.
Thank you very much.
I was going to say, okay, so that question was, when was the last time you were proud of yourself?
Yeah. And I was proud that I got out there and did it myself.
Yeah. Can we flip the question and go, when's the last time you were proud of me? When's the last time I'm proud of you? You know?
I feel like there's so many
options.
There's
so many options right now. Let's go. See, why is it easier for us to see it in other people?
The most recent time, that is...
I'm so proud of you for doing this.
This
I think
right
this
now?
is unbelievable.
Okay.
Like I'm watching you do this. I don't know. Like you feel like a podcast host.
Well, shoot, I hope so.
I'm so proud of you for like having an idea and seeing it all the way through. That is hard for creatives to do.
I think you're right.
You know,
it is.
Having an idea, executing, editing, posting, seeing the whole process through is very hard. And I'm proud of you for the time that you're putting in and the thought.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good job. You.
I did. I think I'm going to go with the show I saw you at in South Carolina. I love
sick.
Like getting out and watching you perform.
Yeah.
Like
that was a fun one.
It's just so fun because you're so good at it.
Dude, that's really nice.
So I mean, of course, you're a great pianist and great singer, but like, it's not like sterile. Like you've been singing so much, especially this year.
Yeah.
But like, it still feels like you. It feels joyful and fun and inviting and happy and wonderful. And you are all those things.
Thanks. That's so nice.
So I think you do such a good job of portraying yourself on stage. And
Wow.
I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you. Oh my
You're
gosh.
welcome.
I'm so happy it doesn't feel sterile. That's huge. That is huge. Yeah, because it can when you do the same thing a bunch of times, you know?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so to try to keep it fresh. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice.
Okay, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be back with the last four. Welcome back. We got four more left.
Let's go. Let's go. You have to
I know, right?
get ready.
Number 7. What was the last piece of art you consumed that inspired you?
Art I consumed.
Doesn't have to be music. It could be any sort of art thing.
The last?
Sure, yeah.
Or the last that inspired me, yeah.
Uh-huh. If you don't have one yet, I have one ready.
Okay. There's a lot.
Sure.
There's stuff I've listened to today that inspired me.
I mean, it could be a list. It doesn't have to be.
Okay, go ahead.
Mine's a story.
Okay.
Back in high school, 2013, I was a junior.
That's the last time something inspired you? No.
I just woke up from a coma. There's an artist, do you know a person named Hunter G.K. Thompson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
For those of you who don't know, he was a part of the Bethel music crew. He was a worship leader for them. But he also put out his own records. And his first one came out in 2013 called Gabriel, Kansas, which are his two middle names, which I thought was really cool.
That's cool.
I know.
What a rad name. Is it?
Right?
It's the worst state.
Yeah, I know it is.
It's all right. They know.
But yeah, that came out, and like me and all the people I was friends with on like my youth band worship team thing, and my girlfriend at the time, we found it, loved it, freaking butchered it, played the crap out of it. And it's not like overtly Christian. I'd say it's faith-based, but like folk, singer-songwriter-ish record, which is not something I usually like. But man, that record and like that environment that I found it in, just freaking loved it and always have loved it.
Yeah.
That turned into every year, first week of fall, first week or two, this record would get played top to bottom. Not just once, like a billion times.
Yes.
But like for the first time we listened to it.
Wait, you told me that last year. Okay.
Me and my girlfriend, we would sit down and listen to it.
Cool.
Just be like, this is the tradition.
Yeah.
It's fall, it's time for GK.
Love it.
We did this for years. And then I got married to this person.
Yes.
We kept doing it.
Yep.
And then we weren't married anymore.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, do I continue this tradition? Do I keep listening to this record? And I decided, yeah, I will.
Yeah, because you like it.
I do like it.
Yeah.
Not knowing how it would affect me.
Yeah.
And kind of like what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
The past influencing the future and coloring the future. I had grown up with this record, and it had been and meant so much to me in different ways, but also specific ways because I shared it with someone else that I loved.
Right.
And that someone wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I still enjoy this record?
Yeah.
And I do still enjoy it a lot, but it's just different.
It's different, yeah.
It's so different.
Yeah.
The first time I listened to it by myself was last year, I guess 2023. And I had the privilege of listening to it in Winthrop, Washington.
Oh.
Literally like sitting on a rock in the middle of a lake as water rushed by me. Gorgeous.
Wow.
Gorgeous place to listen to this
not be
record,
better.
especially this record.
Yeah.
And I cried.
Yeah.
And this past year, first week of fall came by, there's a small little park sitting area next to the Centricity office. I went down, sat on a bench, listened to the record top to bottom, no interruptions, no phone, whatever.
Love it.
I cried.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the future and how grateful for where I am now and how this record has stayed the same but changed altogether throughout the years.
Yeah.
And it was just so comforting to me. And it inspired me to just be present.
Cool.
trying not to think about the other times I listened to this with people I loved, but just like, what is this saying to me right now?
Totally. Yeah.
So yeah, my answer is Gabriel, Kansas by Hunter G.K. Thompson.
Gabriel.
Not a new record, but
yeah,
one that speaks to me.
I remember us talking about that last year, and like, I think I asked you if they were sad tears, and you said no. You said no. It's like nostalgia, I guess.
That's funny. That's one of the titles of the book.
Is it really?
Yes.
Perfect.
Maybe I did say that.
You're like, yeah, it's like nostalgia, but like kind of tainted by what's happened, you know?
Sounds about right.
But you said it was weird. It wasn't sad. There was still hope in it. And I was like, whoa. You know, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That like it could be that kind of a constant for you. Like an album could be like, that album's always been the same.
Yeah.
But it's meant something different to you every time, you know, like.
Yeah.
It's just cool. It's like, how can art do that? That's wild.
I have no idea.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wow, I wasn't thinking that entire time you were answering that question.
Yeah,
I was
sorry.
listening.
I'm sorry.
No, stuff inspires me all the time. I'm like, yesterday, sometimes like even like a TikTok will pop up and inspire me. Yesterday, this girl I didn't know popped up and she was singing an old song. I think she was singing Breathe. This is the air I breathe.
Good song.
And it like stopped me in my tracks. And I was like, how weird is it that something can like stop you in your tracks and you can feel like the spirit through your phone? Like, yeah. I've just been thinking a lot lately about how specifically music translates through a screen or through these different mediums that it didn't used to be able to travel through.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Like it used to be like you had to be in the room to hear music. And if you didn't play, someone else played for you or whatever, like you had to be in the room. And now we can bring it into whatever room and it lives like that in that same form, in that same way on the internet. And we can go back to it whenever. Like it's just kind of weird. But the way that it can meet us in like exact moments that it used to not be able to is like kind of a gift, you know? So she inspired me to remember old songs that I love. And so I started thinking of other songs and things I loved to sing when I was a kid that I like don't sing a lot now and how they bring up that like nostalgic feeling for me.
Yeah.
Specifically some of those songs we would sing in the church or that I'd listen to, you know, my favorite gospel artist sing or whatever. Like there's so much nostalgia in that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just inspired me to like sing the things that I used to love to sing. Like what that brings me back to. Yeah.
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 Okay.
That's one answer of lots.
No, sure.
So many things are inspiring to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move on.
Love it.
Question number 8. Who do you know personally that inspires you to be better?
Gosh, so many people. These are hard because it's like you just have to pick one and roll with it, you know?
Sure, go for it.
I mean, a great one for me is my parents. You know, my mom is like amazing, and like the way that my parents, I'm like watching them love each other right now. My dad's been sick for 10 years now, and just like walking through that, and the times that like my mom has had to step up and help, and the times where dad wants to be more than he can be, and he you know has to take care of his body or whatever. Like it just like the way that they've loved each other, I think, has been really inspiring to me. Was that the question? Inspiring?
Yeah. Who inspires you to be better?
Yeah, they inspire me to love in a costly way, I guess.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, right. And it's like,
wow. That's good.
I've been thinking about this a lot in our current sort of climate and the way that we talk about, like loving people, but having lots of boundaries.
Sure.
And like, taking like, are you doing enough self-care days?
Mm.
And so like so much of that is so important, I think.
Yeah.
But I think we can go, I'm going to love as long as it doesn't cost me.
Whew.
In that, you know?
Preach.
And it's like, actually,
yeah, totally.
Actually, the person that inspires me the most as the Lord lived, you know, watching him love in a way that was always costly to him and letting himself be so interruptible by other people. You know what I mean? Why are you laughing at me?
Bars.
Like, it's just like he would go off to like be with the Father and like pray or whatever.
Yeah.
And his disciples would like come interrupt him. And he's like, all right.
So annoying.
I would be like, you're the worst. Like, get out of here. I'm doing like a really important business, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm totally like that. Like if I get interrupted by doing something, like from doing something that's important to me, I'll be like, ugh.
Right.
God.
Yeah.
You know? But like, what if like letting ourselves be interrupted is loving people in a way that's costly to us? And like, that's actually how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I think there's such a balance in that too, of obviously you don't want to like do it to a point where you're unhealthy, you know, you don't want to not have boundaries at all. You don't want to, whatever. But I'm just saying, I think the cost and the sacrifice is part of the Christian life that we neglect sometimes.
Sure.
I don't remember what the question was.
Who do you know
personally?
that
So my parents,
you?
I love them so much. And they love me. They've loved me really well this year and just been there in a really consistent way, even though they live 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
That's really inspiring to me. Yeah. How people can do that. And even, I mean, some friends that I still have from Colorado have loved me really well, even though they're 1,000 miles away. Which I just think is really impressive. Like it takes extra work to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. My answer for this episode.
Ooh, is it different every time? Let's go.
Sadly, it is.
Okay.
It's going to be someone I work with yet again. It's going to be James Duke. I really like James. He's very cool and he's got a reputation for being cool and awesome and good at guitar.
Coolest.
But
the definition of cool.
I think James has a brilliant musical mind and has done such a good job with the artists that he works with at Centricity. And I think he's been patient with himself. And I think that's
dude,
noble.
what a gift.
Because like he was so well known for such a for one thing.
Yeah.
That I'm sure it's hard in the public eye to be like, okay, I did this thing for 20 years. I'm going to do this other thing now.
Yeah.
And everyone probably thinks like, oh, you're the guitar guy.
Sure.
But for him to like be continually making himself known like as a good A&R in our realm, I think is very impressive.
Dude.
And that inspires me to be patient with myself and think like, I'm just going to do the work. I'm going to be there for the artists. And hopefully they will see the fruits of that labor and it'll pay off.
Yeah. James is so cool for that.
Totally.
He feels like, because it's true, like he was the guitar guy.
He was.
And for him to like step back and be like, no, I'm actually just a guy. I'm actually just a guy and now I'm doing this thing.
It's pretty awesome.
We all need to do that.
Yeah.
We all need to do that.
We do.
I love that. My favorite memory with James Duke, James, if you're listening, this is my favorite memory with you, is when we were driving up to the retreat first time. I was in his car.
And this is like about a 4-hour drive from Seattle Airport.
5. Yeah, 4.5.
4.5 from Seattle to Winthrop, Washington.
James. Another excellent curator of music, right?
For sure. Night Traveler.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 very important records had just come out. One is the Night Traveler record, and the other was the Falcon record.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he put those records on one after the other.
Heck yeah.
And we just sat in silence. Absolute quiet. I did not really know this man. Silence. Listened to the records. Drove through the mountains.
That's beautiful.
And it gave me just the like necessary space to think, take it in, like prepare for what we were about to do and prepare to go write songs and be with people. Like it just was lovely.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
Thanks, James. Love that. Let's do that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to move to question number 9. Almost done.
Love it.
I think I know the answer here, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Whoa. You ask it and then answer it. You don't want to do it for me?
Do you still believe in love?
Oh. Do you believe in love? Everything's a song. Do I believe in love? Yeah.
Why?
But what is love, you know?
Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
No. Do I believe in love? Yeah, and like love looks so many ways. Like I think we could think about that as romantic love, right? Or we could think the way I love my friend or whatever. And all that's true. I think it's really hard to have a real and lasting idea of what love is unless you know God.
Interesting.
I think all around us we experience effects of love, what love feels like. We experience those effects. It's like the rays of sunlight we like feel on our skin. But I think a lot of people don't know, oh, those rays come from the sun. And that's the actual what I'm feeling, you know? And so for us to go, okay, this thing that I'm feeling, the thing that's happening to me, the way I'm being taken care of, all these are effects of God being love himself.
Sure.
Right. So to say that he is love and I actually can't really love without him. I can't have real love without him. Like I just think that's been so important to me to understand what that actually means. And again, so then he defines it for us. He says love is patient, love is kind, all the things. And love is sacrificial too. So man, I believe love is everywhere we choose for it to be. And that's so good. You know, like it's just there's so many different kinds of love too. I love my friends so much. I love my family so much. Those are different kinds of love.
Yeah.
I think like I'll love my spouse so much someday. Like different kind of love. That's a romantic love, you know, that is in the cards for some people and isn't for other people. And like that's okay too, because their love is everywhere.
Yeah.
You choose for it to be, you know, you choose to find it and give it. And
shut up.
Why are you rolling your eyes at me?
Because that's a very good answer.
Well, it's just true. Yeah. And I think too, like all of our deepest desires to be loved, you know? So it's like, and we're also made to love, you know? So that when people say to love and be loved, that's facts. That's actually so true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also kind of an interesting and like mysterious concept but it makes sense because like God is very mysterious in himself. We don't know it all. But I think it's such a gift that we get to live in and hope, like my aim right now is hopefully I would already know that I'm loved so that I can give it away.
For sure.
Without like needing it in return, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think is just interesting. I think how like the first thing that God says about his son when, you know, Jesus gets baptized and comes out of the water and the voice from heaven goes, "This is my son whom I love. In him I'm well pleased." And the three things we hear are, this is my kid, I love him and I'm pleased with him already. So if we knew like I'm his kid, I'm loved and he's pleased with me already. If we actually knew that, we'd go around loving differently, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm aiming for that right now. Like how can I just know that I'm loved and believe that? Like it is totally a thing to just receive and go, yeah, I am, you know, and then maybe that'll affect the way I love people too.
Yeah.
I'm going for that right now. Yeah. I'm not doing it perfectly, but I'm trying.
That's good.
Yeah.
For this episode, the answer is yes. I'm trying to think of why.
Is that what did you mean when you're asking this question? Is there like a specific kind of love you're thinking of? Just love?
No, just love in general. I will say when I wrote these, it was back in March, so
Yeah.
I was in a much different headspace. Definitely still like a quizzical one, but like probably a little less confident, a little more down on myself.
Sure.
Like I needed to know the answer to this question from other people. Like, is love still out there? Do you believe in it?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to figure it out.
For sure.
And so far the answer's been yes. Not every episode.
Really?
It's never been a full no.
Yeah.
I think the furthest I've gotten is I don't know. But for this episode, it's yes.
Cool.
And like I think it's a hopeful yes. Just
Yeah.
like I want to show and be love for others, and like you were saying, like I want to just accept that directive from God. Like you're my kid.
Yeah.
I see you. I love you. Like God, how wonderful is
Help
that?
me do. How do I do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
And I believe it's out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm. Again, what's crazy is that like other people feel very loved by you, Stephen. And probably other people would say they feel very loved by me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because we can't accept it ourselves. And again, why? Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking a lot about that lately. Like, why can't I have the same grace for myself that someone else would have for me, that God has for me?
Yeah. That's something I had to learn in therapy for sure. Just practicing self-compassion. Because I'm the king of like, everyone else is great. They're just trying their best. They're all human. They're good at things. They're worth having a life for.
Yes.
But for myself, it's like, you're nothing, bro.
Is that
like,
crazy?
You're the worst of the worst. Like, you shouldn't be here
Well,
anymore.
because we're so in our own heads and we know everything about ourselves, we think.
Yeah.
We don't.
And even when people say actively, like, no, Stephen, like, you are good, or you do this well. It's like,
you do.
Nah, bro, it can't be true. Not me. Like,
Could
why
be me.
not you? Why not us?
Absolutely. Why not us? Why not us? And it probably is. And here's the deal. We'll do it well sometimes, and we will absolutely fall on our face sometimes.
Real.
And actually, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Like when we look back at our life, if we hit it sometimes, we'll be proud of ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. We're working on it.
We are.
As we go.
We've arrived at question number 10.
Oh my gosh. Dun, 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 dun.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Yeah, talked about some of this earlier. Like I don't know that I care that I'm remembered for my music, but I care that I'm remembered for what it brought people, and hopefully what I brought people through that. Like, I just want to be remembered for loving the Lord and loving people and being joyful and like leading with kindness, like I struggled for so long to like figure out the will of God for my life, and like to know what is his will for me to be and what would he want me to be remembered for, until I realized that he literally says it in scripture. He goes, this is God's will for you, to be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer. And that like hurt me so bad. I was like, shoot.
Yeah.
Like I've been thinking this whole time I had to like go out and find it. So I guess I just want to be known for like being joyful and patient and faithful. And that hopefully my music could be a way that people feel that and see that and like know that they're loved too. And that they can have that life too. Like it's in the same vein, like for so long I would watch other people have a joyful life.
Ooh.
And like I didn't get it because I didn't really know the Lord,
Yeah.
And then once I once I met him, I was like, oh, life with Jesus can be awesome.
Yeah.
Like this is so great. Like, you know how sometimes there are just like country songs or whatever that just make you feel good about being a country boy or whatever. Like
I'm
it's
sure
just
they
like,
exist for someone.
Yeehaw, like
Yes.
great to be,
Uh-huh.
I want to be that person and write those songs where it's just like, it's awesome to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
Like life is actually a lot better. Like it's not perfect, but it's a lot better. Like it's so much fun. Like yeehaw for Jesus, basically. Anyways.
Title of the episode.
Yeehaw for Jesus. I love that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The answer's somewhere in there.
Sure.
Yeah. I didn't think about that more. I don't know that we ever have the answer to that.
No, yeah. And I'm trying to have a different answer each episode for this as well. And I do not know the scripture as nearly as well as you do.
No, I just know that one.
Well, good for you. But my answer, which was already set before you started speaking, was I want to be remembered as someone who's patient.
Good. That's so good.
So I guess I'm on the right track here.
You are. That's literally what he said. It's crazy.
It seems to be.
Yeah.
And I think that came to me like with this selection season, like so many people are going to be like reactionary and just like, oh, you voted for this person? That means you're this. Just like, okay, well.
But does it though? Listen.
How are you doing? How can I help you?
That's so good.
Let's get past all of this.
Let's hang on. Yeah.
How can I sit with you for something?
That's good.
And I think just.
You do that so well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Leading by example and just listening and working through hard or great times with people, never judging them, just like being known as someone who is patient with them and a good listener. I want to be that so
Dude,
bad.
You're doing that, my friend.
Thank you.
Come on. Yeehaw.
Oh, goodness.
I hate it. I hate it. Take it out. Take it out.
Well, we
Edit.
can now.
Cut.
Nope. Okay. That's it with the questions. We're going to take a quick break. Come back for the outro. See you in a second. Three, two, one. That sucked.
That was so bad. Do you want to go again?
3, 2, 1.
Why is it hard? Yeah.
I don't know. Hello, welcome back. This is the end. You made it all the way through.
Well done.
Natalie, thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you, Steven.
You're so
welcome. Blast. Come on.
Did you have a favorite question?
What makes a man feels like the one we can't answer.
That wasn't even one of the ones.
But
prepared.
but that's interesting.
Well, hey, y'all think about it and comment what you think.
Please, because we can't figure it out.
Engaged with the audience in such a way yet. But like, if you have something, I'd love to hear it. I don't know.
Yeah, answer all the questions while you're at it. Great.
You should be doing the show. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I want to know.
Where can the people find you, follow you? Do you have any new releases you can point them to?
What's up? That we do. Let's go.
I do.
Yes, 2025 is going to be awesome. Releasing a bunch of new songs in January and February. So those might be out. You can go check them out. And lots of shows coming up. So much fun stuff happening in 2025. So you can find all that on all the socials. Instagram, Facebook,
what can they follow you?
YouTube,
what's your
the TikTok. The handle is the same everywhere at Natalie Layne Music. But if you're spelling Lane, you have to go Layne. Natalie Layne Music.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Of course. Or NatalieLayne.com. Yeah. That's where the shows are.
Or that.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else to remark on.
This is so fun.
Great.
This is so fun. This is what we do when we just grab coffee.
Which is exactly what I wanted to record.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you feel that way. You're not the only person to say that. So that's good.
You've made it so chill. It's great.
I love that.
Great. Thank you for doing this. I'm so glad you're doing this.
Thank you for being here.
Anytime.
You can follow me at SteveLow55,
And please do.
STE.
It's good content.
Don't do that.
You can hear him sing once a year.
That's,
Nice.
that's very true.
And the occasional photo dump, we love. It's a good follow.
Yes. I've been posting once a year in 2024. I don't know what I'll be doing next year.
Once a month?
Once a month.
Yeah.
Sorry. Typically it is once or twice a year. But once a month in 24. I don't know what I'm doing in 25, so follow me if you want to or not. That's STEFLO55. You can follow this show at A Moment Pod anywhere. I think I actually only have Instagram and TikTok and YouTube.
That's what you need.
Yeah, that's it.
Great.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank
Thank you for joining us
Thanks
for a moment.
For listening.
See ya.
Steven's got this down.
Theoretically.
This
Hi, how are you? I'm good. That'll be fine.
I'm
That'll be
good.
fine.
How are you doing?